I'm not going to preach today. I think I'll just talk from my heart, okay? As one who has been a member of this church for a little over 60 years, and I'm grateful that I became a Seventh-day Adventist. And the first thing I'm grateful for is the Sabbath. I know my parents really opposed my becoming a Christian, and especially a Seventh-day Adventist, because they thought that I wouldn't be able to eat pork chop, and also that I have to pay tithe. So they told me, why don't you be a Catholic? And when I said no, they said, be a Baptist then. But I went against their wishes, became an Adventist, and 5 years later, my mother was baptized. And later, my dad also became a Christian. And I asked them, what started it? They said, well, since you became a Christian, we discovered that you are a more grateful person. You never wrote to us or sent us even a birthday card. But all of that changed since you became a Seventh-day Adventist Christian. Here I have, I'm thankful for the Sabbath. I'm thankful for Evan's teaching on the state of the dead. I'm thankful for the spirit of prophecy. And I'm thankful for the just judgment of God. And for these things, I'm thankful. Maybe the first of all, I'll talk about I'm thankful for the Sabbath. I went to a liberal seminary in Berkeley, California. There were 20 students. 19 of them were theistic evolutionists. And I was the only creationist. And I had several classmates who finished Princeton University, Princeton Theological Seminary. And one of them one day asked me, hey Shige, how can you be a creationist in the 20th century? We're not living in the 19th century anymore. So I told him, you know, I respect you and I like you. Because he was a likable person. Because you were created in the image of God. It makes it easier for me to love you. And so easier for me to believe the teachings of Jesus and to follow his teachings. Oh, he smiled and walked away. Many years ago, I took a class from Walter Schubert. He taught a class in evangelism. And I saw his brother's name. The brother was the head of the New Testament department at Harvard University. And so I was happy to sit at the feet of the brother Walter. He told us this experience with his younger brother, Paul. He said, on the campus at Harvard, my brother and I sat on a bench, and I asked my brother, or should I say, I told him, you know, you're the theologian of our family. Here you're teaching at this prestigious school, and you have a keen mind. And I want to ask you if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, that I keep the Sabbath, and I'm a Seventh-day Adventist. He said, the brother thought for a while, then said, no, you're not wrong. You're in the right church. Don't give up Adventism. Well, Paul, if you say that, why don't you come back and join us? He said, I can't. I lost my simple faith. I don't know how to trust the Lord anymore, so I can't. You know, when a person becomes a theistic evolutionist, it's almost impossible for that person to have a sweet relationship. Yes, there are many who are wonderful Christians. Even my classmates, I admire them. And I did not feel I was better than they were. And I'm sure many of you feel the same way. I'm no better than many Catholics or Baptists or Presbyterians. We're all the same. We all need Jesus completely. Anyway, then I thought about Billy Graham. As you know, he was a fantastic preacher. His soulmate was Pastor Templeton. And they worked together in Los Angeles, and Templeton saw Billy Graham just draw the crowd to follow him. As he looked over the crowd, he said, oh, these people, all those common people, they're not the intellectuals. So he told Billy Graham, I'm going to one of the prestigious seminary so that I can meet the minds of the intellectuals. The first year he was there, he lost his simple faith. He became a theistic evolutionist, and when he was about to die at 83 years of age, someone asked him, what one wish you had? He said, I wish I knew Jesus. You know, when you think about it, if you don't have Jesus, what have you? Yes, if you don't have Jesus, what have you? I'm thank God today that recently I read in Christianity Today, an evangelical magazine, that many brilliant scientists, psychologists, historians, sociologists are now beginning to believe in creation. And more college graduates attend church than high school graduates, because they're beginning to see the wisdom of the practical philosophy of Jesus. That's it. There's no heaven to gain. You just have to live on this earth. Whose philosophy will you follow? It's just interesting that when you think about Jesus, he never wrote a book, and yet more books are written about him. Since the beginning of time, more songs are written about him. And here, he didn't even compose one song. Yes, if you and I did not have Jesus, what have we? Then about the condition of death. I conducted a funeral service for a Catholic lady who came to Loma Linda to visit her daughter. While at Loma Linda, she had a heart attack and died. And the family asked me to conduct the service. I said, okay. The husband flew in from Japan, and it's not common for a Japanese man to praise his wife, especially to a stranger. But this Catholic man said, you know, I lived with my wife for 50 years. In the quietness of our home, I've never heard her make one unkind remark about a church member, about a neighbor. He said, I cannot help but just admire and respect my wife. And here she died. And so the next day, I went to his place, thinking that he will need maybe some words of encouragement. But no, after I sat down, he said, Pastor, I'm leaving the Christianity